I'm just trying to think of things that 10 years. I felt like he was breaking a lot of rules and being like a bad kid, but it was like kind of cool to him. He's like, come on, you smoke cigarettes, watch porn, fucking whatever, bro. You know what I'm saying? I was like, no, I don't want to do any of that.
That kid's pushing the limits
Yeah.
for a 10-year-old.
Right. I thought so too. And I was just like, but then I was like, whatever, let's hang out. And then he was like, do you like Kingdom Hearts? And I was like, oh yeah, Papa. Oh yeah. He's like, do you want to try to beat Sephiroth? And I was like, let's go. This is fucking, it's time. I'd never beat him, This is Kingdom Hearts 2. And then we were like trading back and forth runs. And then like I went deep a couple times. Like I got to like maybe halfway down on his health, and he was just getting his ass kicked. And he was like, bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. I really just want to beat this. Can you just like keep going? So that way you're like, we don't have to watch me.
You're a lot closer in progress than I am.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. Like, are you cool with that? Okay, let's go. We're going off.
I'm all for it.
Yeah, I'm rumbling my ass
Is that cool
off.
with you?
Every time I die, I'm like, fuck, I gotta wait 20 minutes.
You're not gonna wait, yeah.
And then no, we stayed up all night, and then I beat him, and I was like tripping. I was like, damn, I beat Sephiroth.
Let's go. Is this Kingdom Hearts 2?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then one thing I noticed is just that like, each run I would get a little deeper and a little deeper, and then he'd like pull out a move I hadn't seen because I never made it that deep, and I was like, fuck, I gotta do this when he does that now.
Yeah, how do I combat that? How do I counteract that?
Right. And then I go home, and I like take a little nap, and I wake up, and I'm like, well, shit, I know how to beat Sephiroth now. Let's do it on my console. Just curb stomp me over and over and over again.
Were you like in the same spot as far as like who you're fighting with? You know what I'm saying? Your character's stats?
Relatively, but it was like the rhythm thing. Like I needed 20 or 30 simulations in a row to beat Sephiroth. Like I needed 30 simulations worth of data, like Matthew did, not Sora,
Yeah.
And then like I go back and like had lost all my simulations. I'd lost all my rhythm. I'd forgotten like how I need to do the things, and I was like starting to remember, and I was just like, dude, this task is daunting. Like fuck this. I'm not messing with this right now.
Never got it on your own console?
No.
Oh my god, no.
I know, right?
Fuck.
But it just showed me like as an adult I was thinking about it, and I was like like what's a simulation? When we say like a AI uses like thousands of simulations to come to,
or like NFL predictive analytics,
Yeah.
for the final score of a game,
right?
or like Madden, you can simulate an entire season on Madden.
What's a simulation? Like
Okay, continue. Yeah,
right?
Go on.
And I feel like there's something about like a human simulation that's like watching myself do a full attempt, like that's like a one like simulated experience of like beating the boss. Like if I'm gonna have like 30 attempts, there's like 5 of those first 10 attempts are me just getting curb stomped. Like I don't even get close. It's just like bah, 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 dead. But then there's ones that like, and you draw data from that too.
Yeah, it's like the end of the spectrum, where it's like being able to beat him with complete and total ease, or being able to fight the boss and beat the boss without losing a single
health point.
Yeah, one point of health. There we go.
Flawless victory.
Versus just not doing any damage and just getting fucking slaughtered.
It happens.
It's where you got to start, and then you slowly progress.
Yes. And there's something about like an attempt or a simulation, or like once I had 30 attempts or 30 simulations, then it was easier for me to make the right choice or to beat the boss.
The trials.
And I was like, maybe there's something about Madden too, is like, I don't know how simulation works. Maybe they're like, see the game play out, and they're like, that's not how the game would play out though. Like,
yeah, right.
That's how we played it out, but it wouldn't play out like that. So then it makes some kind of modification or whatever. And then it's this is more close to reality. So this is a better simulation. But still I could tweak this, and this now that I've seen it. Whatever, you know what I'm saying? Just kind of open up that box for like, what is a
trial? How do you like, experience?
Yeah, experience almost.
Experience.
Like the 10,000 hour rule?
What are you
going to say though?
Or I guess it's like the experience in regards of end results. Or like you have to go through a simulation or a trial or a period of time where you do something, and then in that doing of that something, you learn about how to do that something overall.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's something.
And then we try to apply that going forward and try to do it. The next time we do it, we try to do it better, and then try to do it better and try to do it better. And
yeah, my 30th attempt, I beat Sephiroth. But I'm telling you, like the first 5 times, it's just like you're dead in 5 seconds.
Not even close.
Like it's like it doesn't even open up to you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Which is so. There's just something about that I think is. I don't know. This is from something, but like there's this dad talking to his son, and he's like, Don't worry about how many home runs you're hitting, and don't worry about how many RBIs you're hitting, because then you're going to have to worry about how many strikeouts you've had and how many outs you've had. Instead, just worry about how many at-bats you have. Like, just how many at-bats did I get? All you want to do is to get into the batter box and, like, get your attempt or get your simulation. That way, like, you'll always get better if you're always trying to get in the box. And the only time you won't get better is when you don't want to be in the box. So, like, and I was just like, that stuck with me whenever I saw it or heard it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And then
I like that.
it repeated itself to me this week or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think my boss was like, "What do you want?" And I just want more at-bats. And then I was like, "Where'd that come from, bro?" Like, that's hard.
Subconscious was holding on to that one.
Yeah, for real.
That hit something. Yeah, just more shots. Put more shots up.
Yeah.
Put more shots up.
Win, loss.
Reps. Get in the reps.
Give me more reps, bro.
It doesn't fucking matter. Just get the fucking reps in, man. You'll get better over time. But you'll never get there if you're not doing the reps. It's just, with stand-up comedy or with podcasting, with any creative expression, you're doing art, you're writing, you're drawing, whatever. You got to get the reps in, man. You got to get the reps in. Yeah, time. Crazy. We're just experiencing time. We're just experiencing time.
Yeah, yeah. That's like an
illusion, the illusion of time.
Divinity in disguise. And your life is the alibi. Yeah, that's my dog.
Come on now. Yeah, it's crazy. We get to simulate anything.
Somebody came up to me at work and was like, "I'm just divinity in disguise." And I was like, "Yo, you were watching the pod."
Who's that?
John Silvestro.
Oh, okay, I was to say.
And I was like, that was the real deal. Those were like some of the hardest bars I'd heard all week from anybody. And there's some diss tracks going out.
This shit going on in the world.
No, and he agreed. He was like, "Yeah, that's why I'm still singing it in my head, dude. That was it. That's a top tier bar."
Right?
Yeah, that's as good as it gets, bro.
That's what I'm saying. You tap into that
it's
shit.
A platinum bar.
Come on, baby. Let's go. Just the vessel, bro. We're just getting better being the vessel. Just fucking whatever. The illusion this is. But so I guess, you just mentioned something, though. We could talk on a little bit. The fucking diss tracks going around.
Oh, yeah.
In the social sphere of life. Diss tracks in general. I think that's back.
Yeah.
I guess they've always been around.
Does it ever leave?
Diss tracks, right? Yeah. Since the early 90s. And I'm sure even before then, just diss tracks. But yeah, it's
when was the first diss track made?
All right. Google that.
I'll Google it, yeah.
Yeah, for those of you who are unaware, I guess there is a diss track feud going about in the hip hop industry, in the hip hop sphere of music. I wonder if like all the other music genres are just like looking, watching. They're all in their own game, individual games in their individual arenas. Like it's country music fans just looking at hip hop, and everyone's like, "Oh man, there they go again, just dissing each other, talking mad shit directly to one another, indirectly through music." Yeah, Kendrick dropped some shit. I think this isn't the first time Kendrick did something similar to this, because he dropped his verse on Like That is the most recent verse that was kind of diss track worthy in that category, calling out not Big Sean, sorry, Drake and J. Cole. But I guess on Control back in the day, remember that song? Fucking on Control, he was dropping shit. He was just trying to kill these motherfuckers in his own words, quote unquote. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I remember that was like a historic moment. Like Kendrick,
I'm trying to set the bar high. Who want to jump and get it?
Yeah.
It was like, oh, shot.
Yeah.
Oh, shot.
I think that he was in the top 5 at that time, and then people put him at the number 1. Like, it reminded me of maybe like, in the middle of the season, like 10 weeks in, like Alabama just destroys Texas. And then you're like, whoa, Alabama's definitely number 1 now. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Close.
Like that week on the news, they were like, everyone put Kendrick as their number 1 after that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Or at least the conversation came about.
Yeah, I mean, of course, there's Stephen A. Smith. Hold on. Not so fast, Skip Bayless. Not so fast. Are you going to tell me? One song can put you at the top.
One verse, 16 bars.
Let me remind you about a Mr. Kanye West. 20 number 1 hits this year.
Let's look at the numbers.
Yeah, that's a good bit, bro. Sports analyst doing hip hop. You know what I'm saying? It's a good bit.
52 weeks at number 1. That's a year.
Stephen A is great. Yeah, no, for real. I mean, that's one of my axioms is that like whoever I don't know how you say it, but like whoever is the most right in conversation is whomever can make the best argument.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yeah, if you're just convincing, that's like Stephen A. and Skip Bayless, like, you know, they were in that position where they had that show together because I think that they were the best people at ESPN at making the argument. Like, it doesn't even have to be that their argument is true.
Or you have to be right, yeah.
At all, right?
Yeah, they're wrong all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
About many things.
I love Monday morning because one of them's just always sitting there like, well, I'm going to have to let you have your say today because I was dead wrong in the water.
One thing I overestimated. It's my fault, honestly. It's on me. I overlooked key critical details that I shouldn't have. Not the first time this has happened, though. And of course, this is a common motif. Definitely in hip-hop. I don't think any... How many other music genres are people dissing each other?
Okay.
Talking shit to one another.
Yeah, so to get back to it, 1980s, it says, Google says.
Since the 80s.
Since the 80s.
Hip-hop? Or what's it say?
It says, I just typed in when was the first diss track made.
Okay.
And
fair search.
It says in the 1980s, diss tracks began to feature prominently in the hip-hop genre.
Okay.
So it's possible that, I'm sure there was some fucking...
Stomp the yard shit?
I'm sure there were some, even cavemen being like, you're little. Me.
Yeah.
I'm big.
Fucking nuts.
I think
whatever language they have.
Yeah, what are we talking about? Feud?
Yeah, feud.
Yeah, like
dissing each other.
What are we talking about?
It's like conflict without the violence.
Or transmuted
without
violence.
the physical violence.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
like, there we go.
Let's dance it out, brother. Like, that's from something, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's that. I think it's what is it? I think it's Daddy's Home is the movie maybe with Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell where they talk about dance as like a conflict resolution.
Yeah, that's hilarious. That's another trope where I'm talking about. They're like, let's not be violent. Let's have a different alternative mode for expressing
How do we
this.
figure this shit out?
For disagreement, conflict.
Yeah, feud, conflict. Yeah, why are you dissing somebody? You're talking shit.
Yeah, like, I was gonna say David and Goliath almost reminds me of the same thing because they fought one-on-one to settle the war between everybody. So that's like violence transmutation. Like let's compete rather than have the violence that surrounds our argument or our feud or our disagreement.
Yeah, it starts and ends with us. Or,
Yeah, same thing on the movie Hercules. That's like how
really
the kings are like in the very beginning and the very end. The kings are like, no more people have to die. Meet me in the middle.
Yeah. It's like there's two thoughts that just sprung to my head. One of them was the fucking UFC guy, bro.
Yeah.
Who just went off this past week, dog. I don't even Dustin Pereira. What is his name? I don't even fucking know his name. Poirier. Oh god, my apologies.
I don't know either, dude. I'm not a UFC guy. I'm guessing here.
Not a UFC guy. As we were talking about Poirier. Is that who it was?
Yes, I don't know his name. I tried to look it up just now, but then I got distracted because
I think it's UFC 300. I don't even know. Either way. Meet me in the fucking middle of the ring. Let's settle this shit.
You know what I'm talking about. You saw it on Instagram.
Mm-hmm. Everyone saw that. It's like, the that gesture of what he had done was just kind of like, fuck all the technicalities behind, or not technicalities, but all the nuances and intricacies behind what is MMA and being able to do all these mixed martial arts, boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, jiu-jitsu, things, or grappling on the ground and striking in the air. And he's just like, fuck all of that bullshit. Meet me in the center of this ring, and we're just gonna throw punches at each other's face until one of us falls.
Yeah.
In the last 5 seconds of the right, it was like the last 5 seconds of the fifth round, and it's only how many is that the last round? Is that the fifth round?
Okay, so
the totality of the match.
Is this is it, right?
Yeah. That had to be it. Home play for
yeah. Okay, yeah.
I'm
gonna slide it over for you. Boom.
Yeah, bro.
Maybe we can have it right here someday for you where it's just playing right here. Yeah, so Max Holloway.
Swinging. Claps him.
He connects on that one punch and just fucking, bah, good night, dog.
Can you imagine the adrenaline immediately afterwards that he's feeling in that moment?
He tries to run away. First of all, where are you running? He just takes off running. You know what I'm saying?
I gotta go.
Like, and then he almost falls down because he's like about to run out of his body. You know what I'm saying? It's like had to be a 10 out of 10 hit. You know what I'm saying?
It had to be the craziest feeling of euphoria and like adrenaline, joy, and pride. And
golly, he gets in the middle. Before this clip, he points at it. He points.
He points down.
Yep, he points down, and then he's like, "No, look, dog, we're fighting right
here.
And that's when they're both just committed to duking it out. But this guy, he never really buys in. So we're, like, look at him, bro. He's kind of like, oh shit, like what did I just sign up for? You know what I'm saying? It's D-Day. You're storming the beaches of Normandy. There's bullets flying all around. Boom, your best friend's dead, dude. Just like that.
You watching your homie? You watching the other homie? You're the homie. Bam, you're done.
Just like that, bro.
Bro, I'm pretty sure that was the last 5 seconds of the 5th round.
It was.
So that's the end of the fight.
See, the other thing is, who was up? Who was down? Like, for him to just say, you know, what if he's losing at that point?
I had only watched, I've seen Schultz's reaction to this, and I could take through context clues. I think he had said, like, he didn't have to do that. He was up 3-1. Like, he was up 3 rounds to 1. So all he had to do was wait for this 5th round to end, and he would have won by decision. But he was like, fuck it.
Plus, the other thing is, if that guy, there's probably like a NOS thing that happens, right? Where like if Poirier, who's he fighting? I don't even know, you know. But if the guy that was losing says like,
what was the name of the guy?
Max Holloway.
Holloway.
Yeah.
Respect to that motherfucker.
That's the hardest thing I've ever seen, right?
That guy's savage. Everyone had to witness that.
You're just thinking as a gamer, sometimes you turn on your
all
NOS
the bullshit
before they can turn on their NOS. He's like, I'm taking the energy, me, motherfucker. Instead of being like, okay, he's gonna take his last shot. He's gonna try to size me up.
Bide my time for the last 10 seconds of this round.
Nah, he's
like,
fucking
one of us is gonna win for real.
Undisputed.
Yeah, that shit's crazy. But I think another moment that popped out to me was Thomas Shelby, Piggy Blinders. I think it's the end of the first season. Spoiler alert: when he's fighting Billy Kimber or whatever. And then,
and he's
like,
he's
like, just us. And then he's like, what's the fucking me and you that I'm really after, or whatever the hell. And he shoots at him, and then he fucking clap. It's just like, bang, it's over, done.
Yeah, I love that moment for Thomas Shelby too. Like he has that moment of like, he gets shot and he's not dead, and then he realizes like all he has to do is kill him right then and now, and it's checkmate. Like you kind of like feel it with him, and he's like, boom, look, it's over. No one else has to die. That's it. I won. You saw it. He shot me. It's over. Bang. And then everyone's like, he's the new Billy Kimber.
I guess that's the way it's gonna go.
Yeah, because his guys could have just mowed down his squad. Like they were outnumbered. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, outmanned, outgunned.
So he was like in a losing position and just been shot.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, wait, I win.
Bam.
Yeah, that shit's crazy.
Yeah, so that fella definitely did that. So you fuck all the grappling and I guess there's technique to that, but they were just throwing punches, bro.
Yeah.
Just a brawl. Just a street brawl.
The other thing is none of those punches are hitting. Like, you see like...
Just one or two, just a half of this, but one big critical hit.
Good night, dude.
Right in the chin, right in the jaw. Just get done.
The idea of a knockout punch.
Oh. Could you imagine? Those people are fucking crazy, bro. Fighters, different breed. They are true modern day gladiators to the fucking fullest degree capacity. Just no swords and shit.
Yeah, just that bare hands.
Just body.
That's all we can make.
Just
legal
technique
these days.
with your body, with your skeleton and your muscles.
I mean, it's just crazy, bro. Like, you know, how many people are like that guy Max Holloway? He's in a position where he's on a primetime card. It was the 300 card. It was like a centennial event. You know what I'm saying? They're like celebrating. It was the biggest card. Someone told me that it was the best card they'd ever had in UFC. They just put together the best fights, the most fights. It was legitimately the best event they'd ever had. Mm-hmm. Just like really cool to say that you're still like, I don't think we're gonna have the best Super Bowl we ever had next year in the NFL. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I guess some Super Bowls are fucking busts.
Yeah, you know,
the one with Kansas City and Philadelphia, that was tight.
Yeah, that was a great fucking Super Bowl. 35-38.
Yeah.
Damn, that was a good Super Bowl.
That's gas.
So remember the score was so good, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But sometimes it sucks.
Right. Mm-hmm. But no, then not only did they put together the best fight card they've ever put together, allegedly, then you get a fight like that where it's just like, bro. But that's what I'm saying. How many Max Holloways in the world are there? People that are going to get on that best card, be in the most prime spotlight, and then do something phenomenally crazy to shock the world. Probably like 10 fighters in the world. Maybe 20. Maybe 50.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fucking small number, though.
Small number of individuals get that opportunity.
All of that to say,
Holloway.
Does being a fighter sound appealing to you?
Not really, no. Not in the slightest.
Really?
Fuck all of that shit. That should be crazy. I guess there's at some point you kind of have to, or like I guess back in the, it's like going to war. It's like you don't really want to go to war.
You shouldn't want to go to war.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think, as I mentioned in a previous pod, my balls are on the wall when it comes to whatever the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, dude. I love watching
Thank God I wasn't born into that. Or like, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't swept into that pathway growing up.
Yeah, I think that one reason I think we like war movies so much maybe is like if we were born 30 years ago, we definitely would have been. Maybe
Got
like
drafted and shit.
Yeah, 40 years ago, I don't know how many years it would have been.
Yeah.
But yeah, fucking World War II, Vietnam. I think World War One. I think those were all drafts.
Yeah. The Vietnam for sure. So up till then.
Yeah.
For sure, at least.
Yeah, for sure. Like my grandfather got drafted. Like that's just like.
Yeah, a lot of people went to Afghanistan too.
Yeah, there was no draft for that. But they really, a lot of patriotism riled up.
Yeah, for real, right?
Drafted by your spirit.
Your spirit got drafted. Yeah.
Some people were saying we were on the brink of World War III this past week.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I think I did see something or hear something about Iran or somebody bombing or doing some attack on Israel, I want to say.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, God damn it. Like, okay, this is what I know.
Pardon my ignorance.
Yeah, part of my ignorance. But what I think is that Iran attacked Israel.
I think so.
And then there was like a lot of, like Israel's like outnumbered. So they could like be under attack and probably lose, I guess. And it's like, and I heard this at church too, and I went to a church I don't normally go to, or it was a CBC, I guess what I'm saying. And they were like, it's Islamic people that hate Israel. So it's like a lot of like religious prejudice and hate involved, and like race hate involved, And then that Israel was going to bomb Iran, I guess, back, like attack them back. And then if that happened, then like World War III would be like on pretty much. And that like, I guess like it could be somewhat like a proxy or a Cold War for like the United States and China based on like who they would support and who they would not support, Because if, we decided to support Israel, then the Chinese could support Iran. And then all of a sudden, like we're at war with China. And China could just choose to do that with us. Should we go to support Israel? So like, yeah, dude.
What the fuck, y'all? What's wrong with you people?
Well, I'm thinking, dude, I'm like, allegedly, a lot of Iranians hate Israel. I mean, I know it's like, it's crazy because it's written about across time. But yeah, there's like racial prejudice and shit. You know what I'm saying? There's like race prejudice that is built into their
religious superiority.
And you could easily just go in there and stir up conflict if you really wanted to. You know what I'm saying? Within those constraints that already exist in those parts of the countries. If you were China, you could just go into Iran and start spewing a lot of like Israel hate speech and like grow the tension there and then create a war so that, China might be trying to go to war with us through them. Like, who knows? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, with
Ain't no telling.
The players at the highest levels, what they're doing.
Right.
Their intentions, the direction they're trying to head. Hey, man, what the fuck?
Why does anyone do anything?
Can we not? Yeah, why does anyone do anything? Right? They feel it would put them in a better position. I don't know.
They want money.
Yeah, control and money
power,
for sure.
Respect.
Money, power, respect.
You know what I'm saying? That's all there is. Like, that's the only reason you could be stooping so low.
Yeah. Don't you want your own respect?
It's worth more. Come on, preach, bro.
Right? I don't know, though. But
people don't know how to validate themselves. Or, like, that's a difficult thing to learn.
Yeah, but then also, I guess all in all, I just kind of was counteracted with the thought of you have to like protect yourself, or like if someone disses you, you know what I'm saying, to like back to bring it back to the diss shit.
Loop it all together, bro.
Like if Drake is gonna get dissed, like does he have more respect for himself if he says something or if he doesn't say something? Because J. Cole is obviously now, as things have gone forward in this diss feud over the last couple weeks, J. Cole has like apologized and taken down the diss against Kendrick, and Drake is recently just released Push Ups, dropping Give Me 50.
Yeah.
Like a couple of days ago or yesterday or whatever. And now I guess, yeah, the question was, if you are dissed by Kendrick Lamar or whatever, or stirred up by an external force, do you have more respect for yourself if you choose to ignore it or if you respond to it? I guess that kind of comes down to your own individual preference, right? Because like Drake responding was like what everybody wanted. And that's kind of what Cole was saying. Cole's like, people want blood. They want blood. People want blood. It's like, I ain't about that shit though. Like I'm like a true individual on my the foundation of my being. Like I'm not built on that. Like I don't. It isn't. I did it, and I was like, I did it for more so for the people, and for the story, and for the narrative, and for the spirit of hip hop culture. Yeah,
yeah, I'm with you.
What I'm saying,
I get it, man.
Like as an individual, as a spirit, as an awareness, as a consciousness, like I don't jive with that energy. More or less is like the summation of what you're trying to say. So what is it? So which one, you know what I'm saying? Which one's right? Is there a right way? I lean with J. Cole.
Whoever can make the most convincing arguments right most of the time. You know what I'm saying? If J. Cole, is J. Cole right when you hear those words? Like, it probably, you know what I'm saying?
In some facet, for sure.
But I'm sure 21 Savage would be like,
motherfuckers and it's like
that
lying.
man's a pussy. Like, 21 probably disagrees with us, you know? Or maybe he doesn't, you know what I'm saying? Maybe, I don't know, though. But that's the argument would be like, Drake's, like, standing on business. Or, like... It also reminds me of Drake's, like, fucking, like, Shaquille O'Neal. Like, his body of work, his popularity, like, his tap on the meta, he is the meta. So his shit always sounds the best. So if you go to war with Shaq, like, imagine Damian Lillard being like,
I'm gonna guard Shaq one-on-one in the paint.
Yeah, like, he calls out Shaq
in his prime.
Shaq's like, let's play one-on-one, bitch. It just starts backing him down.
Backs you down. 1, 2, after the second one, after 2, you're fucked.
You're flying backwards, first of all, while he's gathering with power. Okay?
You get 2, and you realize you're done. You realize you fucked up.
And there's room for Dame to win that game. Like, you just gotta shoot threes worth more points and don't miss. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta be perfect.
You gotta be perfect, yeah.
You gotta be perfect. But yeah, Drake is a monster as far as his hold and tap into the hip-hop. What is hip-hop? The game.
Yeah.
What everyone's listening to, talking about, for sure. So yeah, I guess to bring that back to what we were talking about before that was the, like, some motherfuckers want to go to war, you know what I'm saying? But then why? I was just thinking about why, and then why was partially that question we were just talking about in regards to someone's going to try to start shit with you or whatever, like your response to that. But then also, I guess there's like what's the other motivation behind why would you want to start wars or start conflicts globally on a global level? You know what I'm saying? Why would you want that? There's no one, because, right, you don't want to start wars and shit unless they're, like, profitable.
Right.
Or whatever the fuck. Right. Profitable, not even monetarily, but in some way you gain something, whatever it is.
I'm trying to understand, like, if the hate between Islam and Israel, that's like, that's just that's Christianity versus Islam, which is, what's another word for that?
Muslim?
Yeah, Muslim culture, is that right?
Or
where Muhammad is their God. That's the religion that I'm speaking of, and that's the religion of Islam. Like, I've definitely heard it called that. We can Google around. I feel like there's another word for their religion.
Let's look it up.
But anyways, if that's what it's boiling down to, like, do you think that those two religions would truly want, like, a religious war? You know what I'm saying? That doesn't sound like that sounds like religion, as in, like, organized faith, but that doesn't sound like faith. You know what I'm saying? And I guess that's what they always said was the motivation behind terrorists, is that, like, their religion does say that, like, violence is more appropriate and necessary than, like, the Christian.
We're looking up we're looking up other words for Muslim or Islam.
Yeah. The Islamic faith. Maybe that is one.
Islam. Yeah, I think it is Islam.
Right. Yeah, do you think that's what's going on? It's just like they're feuding over faith.
Yeah, I think yes, but I think feuding over faith is just another way of saying like belief or control of what's right, or you know what I'm saying, what the truth is, how we should be acting and behaving. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's arguments over that, the policies that are in place that dictate how we should act and behave. But all of that stems from your beliefs, and that's just another word like for your faith, or you know what I'm saying, your value structure, your hierarchy of morality, what's right, what's fair,
Yeah.
what's just. That's not just. Fuck that. I know what just is.
Yeah, is an eye for an eye just?
Mathematically, yes. Mathematically, 100%.
But I think that like Jesus taught us to turn the other cheek, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coda Hammurabi, eye for an eye. The whole world goes blind. I forget who says that.
Yeah.
Shakespeare or some shit. I don't know.
Time itself.
But yeah, it's wilding. So, yeah, what's the right path? Love is ultimately the answer. That's what I think.
Come on.
That's what I.
Preach,
Come
brother.
on, yeah.
Hello. Make these waters warm again,
That's
baby.
what I'm talking about. That's what I believe, son.
That's the wind beneath my wings, bro.
Yeah, that's why I kind of side with J. Cole. I definitely see what J. Cole's talking about to bring it back to a more tangible, easy to understand metaphor. It's like the rap game. I definitely feel empathy more towards J. Cole insofar as how I would go about it and how I would feel about it and go about it. But at the same time, I am appreciative, or I do see what Drake's talking about or how he's handling it in his response. And ultimately, I was thinking about it again from another perspective, kind of like removed from that emotion, but just like objectively, it's like all these motherfuckers getting a lot of plays. You know what I'm saying? Everyone's playing this shit and talking about it right now. I was like, damn, they're geniuses. Like, is this premeditated, or is it just like rap beef and it's like life competition?
Beef is always profitable. Always profitable. Everyone profits off of beef.
Talking shit, slander, and gossip.
Jake and Josh.
Drake and
J. Cole were playing into that already with the Big Is the What tour, where they're like competing with the ping pong and going bar for bar on tracks with each other. Like they were kind of already trying to kind of profit off of that competition spirit. Like, oh, who's better, like Drake or J. Cole? They kind of want to start that conversation because it's good for hip hop. It's good for their brand. It's good for the monetary value of them if they're popular in the media, you know? So I definitely think that some of the feuds throughout time have been like, you know, we can keep this going because we're making a ton of money, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I ain't really hating on you, but I'm going to body you on this rap shit. And it's kind of understandable as a basketball player because it's like, yeah, dude, like if we're going to hoop, I'm going to fucking murder you. But like, it doesn't mean that I don't like, you know, necessarily fuck with you or like that I disrespect
you
your
as a
game.
player.
Yeah, exactly. But they ain't no friends.
Yeah.
When it's going down, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, or it's like a fighters series, you know?
Yeah.
It's like X Fighter versus Y Fighter 3, you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh shit, here we go again. And it's like they keep making money on the same fight.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Because of whatever it is.
A series of diss tracks. It's like,
Yeah.
oh shit, here we go. How's he going to respond in this round?
Yeah.
A whole lot of that shit. So it is profitable. So, but I do just like personally, I'm just like, I don't know if I give enough of a fuck. You know what I'm saying?
You shouldn't.
Right.
Yeah, Drake said a
That
wise
brings us to our
man
next
once
point.
said,
Is that what you're saying?
Drake said a wise man once said nothing at all.
Boom.
Like,
There it is.
you know what I'm saying? Drake himself said that.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's been in beefs for a minute. A couple beefs, multiple beefs throughout his career.
Before we move on, I do think that like the argument that like you should say something back or you should respond. It's like I just think that there's two things. The problem is that that's a fork in the road. You could just always take the high road, and you're probably like, I mean, Jesus took the high road. You know what I'm saying? There's like no wrong there, you know. But like the other side of the argument is a fork in the road where like sometimes you're being childish and petty, and like I've seen Drake be like that, and it's unattractive. It's clearly not how you should be. You know what I'm saying? It's a lower frequency. But then there's like also something about like the show Vikings. It's like there's like they have a religious like need to like be their fullest self, to like conquer as much land as they can or head west and explore, like grow to their biggest extent, and they're willing to like be violent about it. And like I think that there's something not necessarily right about that, but like Like if someone crosses your boundary, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it has its place.
Yeah, it has its place somewhere.
Yeah, it's like as you were talking about it, I think I was conceptualizing it more about like kind of just like the sword in the sheath metaphor. It's like you shouldn't be responding to everybody who disses you and fucking, you know what I'm saying, trying to slaughter everybody in every response all the time with every bit of critique that comes your way or negative feedback or whatever it is, or anybody trying to get clout or whatever, because that's a lot of common motifs that rappers rap about. It's like, I'm not gonna get a response out of me. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, right. Can't.
Yeah, I'd make you bigger if I, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'd make a mountain out of a molehill, kind of shit. But you shouldn't be just responding to everybody. But whenever the time comes and it's like it's unjust enough, or you know what I'm saying, or like the slanders, I don't know. I guess, is there a point at which the slander gets too much, or the injustice is so gross that you have to respond and like set the record straight, or you know what I'm saying, like speak words of light in like the darkness and like, oh fuck, illuminate everything. Mm-hmm. I think you have to be able to do that, but you shouldn't be doing it all the time. Mm-hmm. I think that's kind of where I sit. I think
there's something about rhythm that makes, like, when I think about why that feels right to me, it's because it's like there's times for a fucking bass drop and the beat changes, you know. But like you can't just bass drop every fucking hit of the beat, you know what I'm saying? It's like out of rhythm.
Yeah, and then like in the feud, also this brings you to another point. I was thinking about like all this beef and diss tracks and shit. It's like, at what point, or who? I guess the people, but like who determines who wins? You know, like everyone has their own individual.
God himself, I think.
Right, but everyone has their own individual, I guess, perception of who won the fight. If it comes down to decision. Because I guess
there's a thing going on that's like you're either right or wrong though, and then if you're wrong, your frequency is lower and you're deterred from your personal path. So then there's a selfish moral obligation to be right in your thinking, and so if you're willing to be deluded or lie to yourself, like that's then on you, you know. But I think like, so who determines who's right? It's like general consciousness. You know what I'm saying? Objective.
Yeah, the
objective
people.
Truth. Yeah. I feel you. But like, yeah, there's always going to be people that like disagree with whatever anybody says. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. But
I think that they know deep down. It's like you're wrong. But maybe there's no right or wrong at all.
Yeah, who knows? I guess who determines who wins between Drake and Kendrick, Rick Ross, or whatever? Because they're all just like saying true things, right? I guess no one's like grossly lying or saying some shit. But then even out of all the realm of true things that they're saying, like what's the best one? You know what I'm saying? Which one wins? Which one's like, ooh, that's a fucking truth uppercut in this fight that they're doing?
True.
You know, like
True.
how do you really gauge it? It's all perception. It's all what you think and what you believe, what you value, what you personally value. Because like I remember, because Drake's been in. I have a couple examples. So there's like the MGK Eminem example.
Okay,
that's one where the common consensus is that Eminem just fucking slot ganged his ass on Kill Shot or whatever. I think it was called Kill Shot. MGK made a video and a song dissing Eminem, and then Eminem comes back and just ends it right then and there with his response to that beef. And it was like commonly agreed upon amongst everyone in hip hop. They're like, oh yeah, Eminem. I think even MGK said that. Yeah, he got me on that one.
What are you supposed to do?
He got me on that one. I poked the goat, and the goat bit my throat out. I fucked up. So like I guess that's obvious. But then, yeah, with this, like Drake was in a beef earlier in his career, multiple beefs. I think he started out, I remember hearing back in college, this had to be 2011, 2012. He was in like somewhat of a beef with, I think it was Common out of Good Music.
Okay.
Pretty sure some small beef out of some shit. But either way, it's just like promotion for both of them, you know? You know what I'm saying? Any press is good press. So I think it is somewhat strategic throughout hip hop culture. But he started with that. Then he had the Meek Mill beef as well in Drake's career. And I think in that beef, like, I think Meek Mill was kind of winning. Or he kind of won. I don't know.
He should have won.
Right. Like,
it was like a fucking
but I think culture
run.
thinks Drake wins.
I think he did.
Because he dropped the song and charged up and then back to back.
Back to back was crazy.
It's a great song.
it was so back to back.
It was.
Like culturally, we were shocked to get another diss track.
You still ain't did shit about the other one.
but this is what I got to do to make y'all rap. I'm like, whoa.
See? But then, okay, so that's a perfect example again. So now we're at another fork where Drake drops a diss track, and then Meek Mill doesn't respond. So he's just like, I gotta drop another one. But it's like a wise man says nothing at all. Like, is that how Meek Mill played it in that situation? Because ultimately, it's like, I'm fucking your bitch. Pardon my French, with all due respect, Miss Minaj. But pardon my French, and with all due respect.
Yeah, no, I'm with dude. Culture crucified Jesus. Like, culture's wrong all the time.
They're wrong all the time.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, I think
people are stupid.
Yeah,
people are idiots.
And I think that Drake knew I think it was the same Thomas Shelby moment of like, if I drop back to back today, I'm gonna win. Like, it's over. And so I think he just like shot his shot to try to win the beef, and then like successfully did so. But that doesn't mean that he was like spirit to spirit right in any of the things that he did. You can always like, if you're having an argument with someone, you could pull out a gun and shoot them. Like, argument over.
Looks like my point is the only point left. my point of view is the only point of view now.
Yeah, like you could do that, and you know, let's say like you're having an argument over a land settlement, like you and this fucking other person, and you're like,
yeah, where to draw the line of what's your land versus my land,
right? And then
what's fair in that?
You just kill the other landowner.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Take all his land.
Like, no, it's all mine.
That's a lot easier.
And then let's say, like, from that point, you grow into an empire. And now you have the biggest land settlement, and the more begets more, and now you're number one. But that doesn't mean that, like, you were, like, spirit to spirit. Like, you were wrong there. In the spiritual realm, you lost. But, like...
even though in the tangible realm, you're still trucking along.
Ultra up.
Cruising for a bruising, though, ultimately.
Right? And I think that's Ozarks, or, like, I think that's Drake, too, to a degree. I think he's always been, like... yeah, the sentiment of fucking your bitch. It's like, how person to person, how does that makes you even more shitty? Like, that makes you more wrong. Like, it doesn't aid your argument. You know what I'm saying? But like, who decides what right is? Because if you let culture have it, it's whoever's coolest or whoever.
People want blood.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
People want blood.
Whoever pulled the gun out.
They want you to kill him in the Coliseum. You know what I'm saying? Open his head.
Yeah, that's what we want to see, quote unquote. You know,
savages want to be entertained. Savages, bro.
So, yeah. Savage nature.
So who determines who wins? It's objective reality.
Cutting the head off the snake is like your best bet if you're gonna choose like the violence or you're gonna choose the war. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if there's a snake in your house, like at some point it's bad for you and your family to let that snake be in your house. You know what I'm saying? At some point you're not loving everybody at all. It's like, love's the ultimate answer. Or sometimes like someone's crossing a boundary repetitively. It's like, you have to like teach them that what they're doing is wrong for the love of them. And you need to love yourself by protecting yourself from that damage. So it's like, what's the most applicable love, I think, is the proper argument for like who should win. It's like, who's within the constraints of the story, like who's applying the most love to the situation. Yeah.
Or who's able to speak truth. And that shot that points towards the highest love. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I was just thinking about it, and another example just popped in my head about Eminem in 8 Mile, when he wins the rap battle at the end of the movie. Another spoiler alert. Sorry. He wins the rap battle at the end of the movie, but he does so with like upfront truth. Like, he raps about his own flaws and his own downfalls and shortcomings, and takes that away from his opponent more or less. So he's like, this is true and this is true, and I'm gonna wear it and I'm gonna own it like some fucking armor, and this is true about you, this is true about you. So like, what truths do you have now to combat my truths? You know what I'm saying? He didn't have shit to say.
Truth superiority.
Yeah.
Because he embraced all of his flaws, and then
the negative side of truth. You know what I'm saying? Where you fall short.
Yeah.
It's like, I may not, whatever, blah 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 blah, or I do fall short of this, or I'll fuck up on this, but you know what?
My friend did shoot himself.
Yeah.
And I am working 2 jobs, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? And then
sleeping on my mom's couch. Whatever.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I want to do the bit with you right now. Just like Eminem trashing himself. You know what I'm saying? But then the other thing he did was he was like, but I'm telling the truth here. Like, you are lying. Like, you go to private school and you do this and this and this, and your real name's Clarence, bro. Like, you're not even telling truth here. Like, so then now that we know who you really are and what your real voice is, and clearly you've heard my voice, it's like, what do you have to say? He literally didn't have anything to say. Like, he choked up.
Yeah. I think all that was, because of
the truth, right?
his not manipulation of the truth, but his transmutation of objective true things and being able to use them as like armor and a sword. You know what I'm saying? He's like, this, like, my own faults, I'm aware that as armor, and then like things that are true about you that are maybe contrary to what you can, like, what you claim to be, or what, like, the narrative that you put forward. It's like, here's all the holes in your fucking logic of life. You know what I'm saying? And like the miscues and the, I don't know, where you not fall short, but things that are not as they seem with yourself. Contradictions even, or whatever it may be. But yeah, he's the truth in both ways in that movie. He definitely won that shit.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. I think that, yeah.
He's been in multiple beefs as well and throughout his career.
It's a thing.
I don't know his discography of beef as well, but I know he's ever since the fucking 90s and shit.
I think Toy
Soldiers was about some beef and shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's been in hip hop since the 80s, which makes sense to me. Sounds about right. Pretty much hip hop's entirety, more or less.
Yeah, right. How hip hop hasn't been around that long.
Yeah.
I mean, we just shouldn't. What should it be about? You know, I'm like, it shouldn't be about that, but I'm like, what should it be about? Love, and that gospel music, in that love songs. It's not hip hop,
right? Yeah, hip hop. It's a different vein of expression of individual expression. It's like when I think of hip hop, it's because it's funny because the feud exists within hip hop, but I don't think it's in country. I don't think it's in rock. I don't think it's in fucking jazz. I don't think motherfucking jazz musicians are just fucking going after it on each other on the sax.
That'd be some cool shit though.
Yeah, they'd be fucking ripping.
I want to write some or jazz beef music. Right. EDM feud, bro.
EDM beef? Is there EDM beef? I don't think so.
But you could do some crazy shit, like remix his songs.
Okay, yeah, just put crazy or different drops in there.
Yeah.
Or funny drops. I don't know.
Yeah, right. Gorge. Some goofy drops. You could do some crazy shit. There's artistic outlet there, right?
Yeah. I just don't think it's as prevalent. You know, I think hip hop is just like the 1.1. I don't think anyone even comes close insofar as diss track. So I guess with that being said, we were talking about kind of what does hip hop kind of represent. So when I think about hip hop, I think it's kind of like, it's kind of freeform, or it's kind of like rebellious to a degree. Or I think, I don't know, maybe it started as like rebellious, just rapping about your life. But I think what is rapping about your life? Because that's all like NWA was kind of doing. You know what I'm saying? Like Ice Cube started back in the day. Early days of hip hop, the motherfuckers who were starting out, killing shit, taking over culture.
Really just talking about
rapping about your life. And I think what that is kind of like your perception of your outlook, your creative lens, your ability to interpret information, and then ultimately being the winner. So it's like your ability to process information, articulate that process, and I guess hopefully you're embodying
to be the champion.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah. All that is predicated on you embodying like things that make you win. Ultimately, like simply put, you get the job, or you get the job done, or you get the whatever, you get the money, you do the hard task. I think that carrying that energy of accomplishing the hard task and being the motherfucking man, like doing the fucking shit, is like kind of braggadocious. I think that's kind of what hip hop is built on a little bit.
Yeah, I can't help but feel like there's, like, it talks to the ego a lot. But there's like a prettier way to put it, which is where like Kanye's like, if you're a fan of me, you're a fan of you. Like, but being a fan of yourself, is that ego rooted? It's like almost like you do need to want to see yourself win. Like you do want to, like, or not ego, but hip hop makes me be like, like I'm doing the hard task. Like,
yeah, I'm getting in there.
It swells my confidence or my attitude, or like gives me some kind of charged energy, you know? Do I need that? It's like, if I didn't have that, I would be a lot more passive and neutral energy going into all my situations. It's like, do you need that swell of confidence to be accomplished? I don't know.
Maybe it just feels good, or it's like a high vibration to have that confidence. The confidence that comes from the accomplishing of tasks, the doing of the thing.
Yeah.
When the thing is done, it feels fucking great. You feel like you're the man. You fucking mow the lawn or do the dishes. You're just like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Did that shit. You look at an empty sink, whether it was like full of dirty dishes before, or like
clean house,
a dirty room. Then you afterwards, you're like, fuck yeah, on a small scale, and then back to Callaway or whatever. Halloway, big scale. How does he feel?
Holy shit, that's a big scale.
How would I be? Yeah, like, in that moment, like I guess every individual would have their own. But in my mind, when I'm like, if Justin were to be a fighter and live through that moment of fucking, let's meet in the middle of the ring, UFC 300, then we're fucking just trading haymakers, and then I fucking land one. Like, to equate that, there would definitely be like hip hop music playing in my head, like metaphorically, or you know what I'm saying, like at that frequency, at that high of a level, like that confidence of I just did the thing. You know what I'm saying? There's some horns playing,
and brawn. Yeah, no, yeah, I feel you.
Let's get on with it.
Yeah, bro.
Gonna be somebody.
Jumping on the fucking ring top. Yeah, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Whew, my heart's beating fast right
too.
now, dude.
I just teleported to the octagon.
Yeah.
And fucking Blood in the Leaves is playing over the loudspeakers.
Whew. Do you think that Max Holloway listened to music before he fought that fight?
Had to.
Right.
Had to.
I think there's a...
That's my initial reaction, just like, but like objectively, I'm like, maybe not. Maybe he's not the person who listens to music. But that's my first initial reaction is absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know him like that. But I think I don't know. I think all the fighters would kind of need some sort of rain dance to get them into that fucking, like I'm about to fucking charge out of the gate.
Turn the governors off, dude. Like, let me go into fucking war state. You
I'm
know
about
what
to go to battle. Yeah. I think to help get you there. Maybe everyone's different, but I would assume that music is a critical ingredient in that stew. Getting that stew brewed.
I feel like that's what I was saying in my diss track. I'd be like, you know, what does hip hop do for you? Let me tell you what it does for me. And then you just fucking, you know, shut all my governors and fucking express like, what does hip hop do for anybody? That's like, I don't know what people think about that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy. Hip hop is so popular nowadays too.
Yeah.
I think it's got to be the most popular.
Well, it gets a bad rap too. Like, you remember like when we were kids, hip hop could have gotten shit on really easily. There's people that are like, you like rap?
Back in the day.
Yeah. Now it's kind of like Drake's really integrated into our mainstream like a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So I think that there's less like shade being thrown around for hip hop, but people definitely thought of it as like a less than music genre for a while, I think. Compared to like the great love songs, like fucking
like Aerosmith and shit.
Yeah,
AC/DC.
Metallica.
Uh-huh.
What you know about music, bro?
Yeah.
And then Drake's like, you know, Michael Jackson, like what
The Beatles.
The Beatles, yeah. People are like thought hip hop was like a subgenre compared to the greats.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it's like a fad.
Yeah.
Maybe everybody thinks that about like the new style of music that emerges. I guess how many of, I don't know, hip hop, and then there's, I guess that was predicated on like rock and jazz and shit that started way before that. And then hip hop, and then there's like house music and EDM music, and like now there's fusions of all kinds of genres.
I know. Is that the nature of things?
Mm-hmm. It's new.
So much
slightly different variations. Oh, big variation change. Oh, slightly different variation change from that. And it's just like, keeps on changing. Everyone's just living in the, what is good music? When they were growing up, it's all they were like, listening to, or whatever they were listening to, whatever they had the ability to, and access to.
Yeah.
It's like some of that music was great. Truly great.
Yeah,
timeless.
People heard 80s music and was like, you know, y'all don't know shit about the Grateful Dead.
Mm.
Like, throughout time, people shit on the new stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's always a common motif.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And they're like, you're old, Grandpa.
That's old!
There's something about old stuff that sounds old. Like, when you're a kid, you're like, I want this new shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That
something
sounds
different.
old.
Something different from my parents so I can identify myself as my own individual thing.
Yeah, we do want that.
Maybe a little bit of that's going on for sure.
For sure.
My own individual take on reality.
You ever just see a TV show that looks like it's from the 80s and you're like, I'm watching this.
It's like the camera quality?
Yeah, like the act, what they're wearing, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you're just like, no way, bro. But that could have been like the best show in the 80s, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. the height of technology,
Yeah.
the fucking cusp, cutting edge of where the hell we were at.
But I think, yeah, there's something about, like, I feel it just a little bit as I get older, like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like I posted a Instagram photo of Peyton Manning and Reggie Wayne, and I was just like, man, I'm fucking starting to sound like an old head. Like, this is what I call a quarterback.
That's my quarterback.
Yeah.
Who's that? These kids.
Yeah. It's like they're in the era of Patrick Mahomes, you know?
Yeah, there was an era, there was a time where I vicariously drafted Peyton Manning through you when I didn't even play fantasy football and you were playing fantasy football. And that man had like 5 touchdowns in week 1.
It was awesome.
I was like, yeah, brother.
Yeah, dude.
Let's go.
This is a quarterback, huh?
That's a quarterback right there.
Yeah,
That's a first-round draft pick.
Let's go.
Back when you took quarterbacks in the first round.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
What a time, dude. Holy, I'm like, you drafted Peyton Manning in the first round?
Time warp.
That sentence almost doesn't even make sense.
Mm-hmm. I think you drafted him in the first round.
Let's go, guy. Let's go. I'm proud of myself.
That was like in like 2015 or some shit.
You were just playing with my team? Or
Yeah,
like
we're not playing with your team.
rooting
We're
for
playing
my
through your
team?
team.
Nice, let's go.
I think you're in Emilio's league.
Yeah. Yeah, we had
His family league. But yeah, time's moving. There's common motifs that keep on playing out, and it's crazy to be on, crazy to be on both sides of common motifs that happen to kids and adults. It's like being the kid who's like not wanting to listen to and watch things that like seem old and dated, and not understanding your parents' references. And then you get older, and then you become the one who have references that the young people don't understand.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh shit.
You watch it happen to yourself.
Time
You're
just slid on me.
son of a bitch.
There it goes.
There's a way to embrace it, though. There's a way to be.
That's all you can do.
All kids want to be a grown man. There's a way to be fucking Ragnar Lothbrok. You know what I'm saying? Be fucking good, strong leader.
I think there is a way to be the balance of both, or like carry the weight of both the grown man and the youthful soul. You know what I'm saying? Because some people could be an old soul, or like be like a grumpy old man in their 20s, you know, or whatever it may be.
You know somebody like that.
You know somebody like that.
Yeah.
Just carries grumpy energy around.
It just sucks. You seen that South Park episode where Stan just starts thinking that everything sucks?
Yeah, everything's shit.
Everything's shit, bro. It just sounds like shit to me. I don't know what to tell you.
Man, they don't give a shit. It's just actual pieces of shit.
Yeah.
Just like talking shit. I couldn't understand anything they were saying, bro. It was just shit.
Yeah, he doesn't like anything. He used to like his favorite food.
You're cynical.
His favorite. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can let your spirit get like cynical, and everything sounds and tastes bad. That's one thing that I think I've been able to digest about perception lately, is that like when someone thinks that everything is shit, like all the music and the movies suck and the TV shows suck and the restaurant sucks and the fucking everything sucks all the time. It's like they're actually perceiving that. Like it actually sucks to them. It's not that they're just like saying it and belittling it.
Or being dramatic.
Yeah, or just like lying and casting shade.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like in their perception, it actually sucks. But I think it's because they're doing poor perception maintenance. Or sometimes our perception gets fucking rocked. Like, you know, something terrible happens to you.
Yeah, the lens, or like, your lens is dirty, or just a different shade, or the setting is on your HUD. Your POV of life is just, they're altered.
Yeah.
So you literally just see that. Yeah.
Right. So you can't really just like tell someone they're wrong per se.
Yeah.
Because they're actually going through that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Or being in their own universe. We're all just in our own life. I remember realizing, like, or thinking about it back in the day. I was working at Gold's Gym, I think, and I was talking to one of my coworkers about it. But I was like, everyone's perception is like, everyone's their own individual like world. Everyone's in their own universe, really. And like, because if someone sees this box and it's like, to me it's red, but to some people like who are colorblind, it's like it's not red, or whatever it may be. It's like they just literally don't see it.
Is it objectively red?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why it's like
right. I guess
perception maintenance. Like you have an obligation to be objective. You should align yourself with objective truth, in my opinion. I mean, you live in your own deluded universe, I guess, if you want.
Yeah, because if you have, I guess it comes down to if you have 10 people and then 9 of us say that's red and one person says it's not, and it's like, okay, well then that one person's probably the anomaly, or just But for the most part, objectively, we can say that that's red. But if it were the other way, if it would be flipped, then I'd be like the freak, or I'd be like the minority that like is out of like the objective norm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, we count for you. Like you're in the statistics. You're just like anomaly. Yeah. And all of us have that to some capacity. We're all just in our own world here, perceiving things in our own way. But I think you can adjust your perception. You can't necessarily make yourself not colorblind, but you can change the way you look at shit. And that can dramatically change how you feel about the entire song and dance we got going on here.
Yeah, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe it's a nice constant reminder that your perception isn't always the truth. Like every time I see red,
even if it's even if it is like I see red, but like I'm not sure if I see red, but I think I'm seeing red for sure. Yeah, right. That's definitely going on.
Right. Who knows? You can make anything. That's like when Kendrick, I think, says like God of ourselves first and foremost. It's kind of what I think. Like
J. Cole.
Oh yeah, J. Cole. Sorry, thank you. Yeah, you have to like manage your whole being. Like you have to like orchestrate this thing and like manage it well. Like if you let your perception or your view on the world or like yourself become cynical, then it like distorts your whole perception and then makes your like you know, it's a slippery slope. You know what I'm saying?
Big time.
And you kind of owe it to yourself to like do the right thing for yourself, to align yourself with that objective truth.
Yeah, try to see the truth, or try to see what's really here,
right,
to the best of your ability.
Yeah, I think because there's like goodness in that. It's like it would make your existence better to do so. And you're kind of driving yourself away from that milk and honey by like, it's like you don't want to pour salt on the wound or peroxide on the wound. It's like find truth. It's like, oh, okay, this is better. It's like you're like, don't show me the truth. Don't show me the truth. It's like you think you don't want it, but you do. You know what I'm saying?
Like that burn on that cut. Yeah, when you put that on there.
Yeah, it's like you want that. You want
that acid burn when it clean you.
You don't want cuts on your arms. You know what I'm saying? You want it to clean you.
Yeah, maybe every time you take one of those psychedelic experiences, it's like you get a bath. But in that bath, it's like if you have cuts, it's gonna hurt. You want to go into that bath pure and like ready to take a bath.
Yeah, hopefully it's a bath. You know, you're like, oh, this is relaxing.
He's like, oh, okay, I know all of this. I accept all of this.
A lot of clarity in this
place.
Is
what's going on here. Okay, I get it. I don't get it.
I only understand.
I never could get it, but I get it here, and that's enough.
That's what it's like. Yeah, you get that fucking 4D perception. You're like, oh, I think 3D all the time.
Like, oh my God, I don't even see this fourth dimension.
Not at all.
It's like, whoa, this thing is here all the time, huh? This thing's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah. So get that perception right. Let's go. That's what it's about.
I think that's why management's so important. It's like you're managing a thing you can't even see. You know? Like these little reminders that this thing's so much bigger than you. You gotta worry about your frequency and that your words are powerful. You gotta worry about that your relationships comprise your being too. Like you gotta worry about like if you're unaligned with objective truth, you will slowly deter from your most powerful path. All these things are fucking like I played video games for like 5 hours yesterday, bro. I wasn't managing or maintaining any of that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's very easy to not do that job. But that was like scheduled rest time, so you could.
I was gonna say it's like you need to have some chill time recovery.
I was contemplating how dangerous the video games were while I was enjoying them.
It's a slippery slope. The slope's slippery.
This alcohol gets you drunk. I'll tell you what.
This is fucking 100 proof, baby.
Yeah.
Big body shots.
Do we need to get over to the Yam Dog?
Yeah, let's go. Let's clock in. Go clock into the Plato School.
Oh God.
Plato School of Lifting Matter.
Pick it up and put it down, school.
Pick it up and put it down. Hell yes, bro. Shit, yeah, man. That's what's up. That's good.
We talked about all things I want to talk. I want to talk about that MMA guy.
That MMA fight. The beefs that's going on.
Rap beefs.
Keep doing you. I don't know about what the fuck's going on with them beefs or how much of it's planned or what's going on with any of it.
Yeah.
But either way, we're all listening to it and talking about it. So I guess we all win. I don't know.
We'll see what happens.
I side with J. Cole. That's my dog.
Yeah, I agree, right?
Like, and we'll see how Kendrick responds.
Shouldn't want to be a fighter.
Yeah. Unless you need to. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see who has the what has the final say, or what society deems in the next couple of weeks. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Be interesting. Regardless. Entertaining.
Regardless. More hip hop for everybody.
Everyone's entertained. It's a win-win, I guess. I'm cool either way. I'm cool listening to Joey Rogue.
I'm like, man, yeah, if I listen and embody to that Drake song, if I embody that energy of like, drop and give me 50. Oh, like, is that bad for my energy?
No, I guess as long as I think there's a line between entertainment and like influence. There we go. You know what I'm saying?
Damn. Well, I think we should let him sit on that.
Sit on it.
Y'all have a good week.
Love you.
Thank you for tuning in. Love you guys.
Subscribe, comment, share it. Do all the things. Call to action right here. I'm calling you to action.
Call to
This
action.
is it. This
Blow
is the
it
call to
up.
action. Do the thing. Love y'all. Let's go.
Rolling through the city to the light show. Really ain't no telling where we might